Hello and welcome again. This is Vivek Babele. And today we are going to discuss about milling machine. So in this lecture, the content will be revolving around introduction of milling machine, principle of milling machine, types of milling machine, and milling machine operations. This is a milling. Milling machine is a metal cutting operation um, in which the excess material from the workpiece is removed by a rotating multi-point cutting tool called milling cutter. A milling machine is a machine tool that removes metal as the work is fed against the rotating multi-point cutter. Milling machine is continuous in many applications due to its higher production rate and accuracy. Milling machine has even replaced shapers and slaughters. This is the application of milling machine. This type of workpieces can be generated with the help of the milling. Milling methods are basically two types: up milling or conventional milling, down milling or climb milling. Up milling or conventional milling, in which metal is removed by cutter rotating against the direction of travel of the workpiece, which needs a stronger holding of the job. This is conventional milling, in which the cutter is rotating and opposite in the direction of the workpiece. And in down milling, metal is removed by cutter rotating in the same direction of travel of the workpiece. The teeth cut downward instead of upwards. Chip thickness is maximum at the start of cut and minimum at the end of cut. Less friction is involved, better surface finish and less power consumption. This is climb milling. This is the principle of milling in both conventional and climb. Types of milling machines are: the milling machine may be classified in several forms, but the choice of any particular machine is determined primarily by the size of the workpiece. So according to general design, the distinctive types of milling machines are column and knee type, planar milling, fixed bed type, and special types of milling machines. Principal parts of a milling machine are base, column, knee, saddle, table, and spindle. This is the column and knee type. It is the most commonly used milling machine used for the general shop work. Classification of column and knee type milling machine are: hand milling machine, horizontal milling machine, universal milling machine, and vertical milling machine. An horizontal milling machine has a spindle that is parallel to the shop floor and an overarm that extends over the workpiece. This is its view. Actual horizontal milling machine. Arbors. In vertical milling machine, spindle is vertical or perpendicular to the work table. It is adapted for machining grooves, slots, and flat surfaces. This is the vertical milling machine. Its major parts are base, column, spindle, spindle head, knee, saddle, and work table. Differences between horizontal and vertical milling machines are simple as that. Spindle is horizontal and spindle is vertical. Cutter cannot be moved up and down. In this, cutter can be moved up and down. And there are several different comparisons, or we can say the differences. Universal milling machine. Difference from plain horizontal machine is addition of table swell housing permits table to be swelled 45 degrees in either direction in a horizontal plane. Used for milling of helical grooves and twist drills, milling cutters and gears. Fixed bed type milling machine. It is comparatively large, heavy and rigid and differ from column and knee type milling machines. Table is directly mounted on fixed bed. Three types are simplex, duplex and triplex. This is a fixed bed milling machine. Planar milling machine. It looks like double column planar machine. Milling heads mounted in various planes, vertical heads on the cross rail and horizontal heads at the sides on column. This arrangement enabled to machine a workpiece on several sides simultaneously, used for producing long straight surfaces on large and heavy machine parts. Special types machines designed for individual milling operations used for only one particular type of job, completely automatic, employed when hundreds or thousands of similar pieces are to be machined. Tracer mills, profiling milling machines, also called duplicators, designed to reproduce an irregular part geometry that can be created on a template. In 2 dimensions tracer, in 3 dimensions it is called duplicator. Special type machines in which CNC milling machine also comes. Cutter path controlled by numerical data, suitable to profile pocket surface contouring. Milling operations are like that in which plane or slab milling, face milling, end milling, side milling, slot milling, angular milling, form milling, and straddle milling. Other milling operations are slitting or saw milling, gear cutting, keyway milling, string milling, profile milling, thread milling, helical milling, and cam milling, which is plane surface or in which a plane surface is produced. Cutter is a plane milling cutter and machine is horizontal milling machine. This is the operation, how it can be carried out. In face milling, cutter is the face milling cutter and machine is vertical milling machine. This is the face milling, how it can be carried out. In end milling, operation performed for producing flat surfaces, in which cutter is the end milling cutter and machine is vertical milling. In side milling, operation performed for producing flat surfaces, slots, grooves, or finishing the edges of the workpiece, in which cutter is end milling cutter and machine is horizontal milling machine. In slot milling, operation of producing slots like T-slots, plane slots, etc. And cutter is end milling cutter, T-slot cutter, side milling cutter, and machine is vertical milling machine. This is the slot cutting. In angular milling, operation of producing all types of angular cuts like V notches and grooves, serrations, and angular surfaces. Cutter, double angle cutter, and machine is the horizontal milling machine. In form milling, operation of producing all types of angular cuts like V notches and grooves, serrations, and angular surfaces. Cutter, double angle cutter, and machine is horizontal milling machine. This is form milling. In straddle milling, operation of machining two parallel surfaces simultaneously on a workpiece. This cutter is two or more side and face milling cutters. Machine, horizontal milling machine. In gang milling, process to get different profiles on the workpiece simultaneously with two or more cutters at one stretch. In cutter, different cutters as required, and machine is horizontal milling machine. Profile milling is outside periphery of flat part is cut. Conventional end mill is used to cut the outside or inside periphery of a flat part. In pocket milling, another form of end milling used to mill shallow pockets into flat parts. Surface contouring is ball nose cutter is fed back and forth across the work along a curvy linear path at close intervals to create a three-dimensional surface. This is all about the milling and its operations and milling machine. Thank you very much. Please like and share this lecture.